I have here before you terms of settlement entered as judgment in the Court of Appeal of Nigeria, holding at Port Harcourt, with appeal number CA-PH 225-2023, between the ADC,
the 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Dumebi Kachikwu, has accused the party's immediate past national chairman, Nwonsu, of forgery. Kachikwu alleges that the embattled chairman forged the signatures of aggrieved party members and presented them in court in a bid to sell the party to the highest bidder.
A few weeks ago, I had warned that a group of mostly old former political office holders were executing a carefully orchestrated agenda to take over the ADC to prosecute Atiku Abubakar's presidential ambition come 2027. I also warned that Peter Obi and other presidential hopefuls in this coalition of geriatrics were being duped, as Atiku's men had been carefully positioned to take over the ADC party structure across the country. Today, I have been proven right as former Governor Obi and his people now realize that this coalition is indeed a one-man power grab. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, a man who claims affinity and friendship with the South, does not believe any Southerner deserves to be president of Nigeria. Former Presidents Obasanjo and Jonathan are alive to attest to these uncomfortable truths. In their desperation to hijack the ADC, they deliberately perpetrated fraud, of which I now present evidence to you today. I have here before you terms of settlement entered as judgment in the Court of Appeal of Nigeria, holding at Port Harcourt, with appeal number CA-PH 225-2023, between the ADC, Chief Nwonsu, Engineer Eddie Lawrence as appellants, and some of the ADC state chairmen as respondents. What is the fraud, you may ask? To use the ADC, they needed to free it of all legal encumbrances, such as those challenging Nwonsu's fraudulent claim to the chairmanship of the party. And so, they forged signatures of some of the chairmen who were not interested in the sale of the party and presented it to the court as terms of settlement, which the Court of Appeal adopted as judgment. I have here copies of said judgments and international passport copies of the chairmen whose signatures were forged. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, please compare the signature specimens.
Kachikwu further claimed that before Nigerians and the media, Nwonsu had named David Mark as chairman of the party, an action he described as unconstitutional. He expressed surprise at a recent letter sent to INEC by Nwonsu bearing his own signature as party chairman.
Our lawyers have dispatched petitions to the appropriate law enforcement agencies on this. As if this was not bad enough, we all watched almost 2 months ago the comedic performance of Nwonsu as he anointed David Mark as chairman of the ADC, and at the same time presented him with a membership card of our party. I again warned Nigerians that this was fraud being perpetrated in broad daylight, as Nwonsu had no legal mandate to anoint or appoint a chairman for our party. Sections of the media subsequently addressed David Mark as chairman of the ADC, even though they knew it was constitutionally impossible for this to be so. But again, this is Nigeria, where anything is possible. The same media less than 10 days ago covered and reported a supposed NEC meeting where the same David Mark was again appointed or anointed as chairman of the ADC. So, what are we to believe? When did former Senate President David Mark become the chairman of the ADC? Here is a copy of a letter written to INEC on the 29th of July 2025, wherein the same Nwonsu, who weeks before this had presented David Mark to the world as the new chairman of our party, is still signing his signature as national chairman of the ADC. What a joke. Nigerians are all watching the live coverage of a fraud so monumental and yet so stupid that it beggars belief.
Reacting to suggestions that he was being sponsored to discredit new entrants into the party, Kachikwu maintained that he is independent and not against new members, but will not condone anyone circumventing party structures and laws for selfish purposes.
Okay, let me be very, very clear. I've said it in at least 3 press briefings that I am definitely running again. Secondly, Secondly, I have no issues with having other people contest within the ADC. After all, in the last primaries, we had almost 14, 15 people in the primaries. I am totally against people coming in through the front door, or through the back door, to hijack the party structures because they don't want a free and fair contest. The ADC, the party which we're trying to build, is a party that believes in meritocracy, that believes in the superiority of ideas, that believes in ideals that will fashion a new Nigeria, something that is totally alien to the people who are trying to hijack our party. If they did indeed believe in what we espouse in the ADC, they will have come in properly. But of course, they want to take over a party without primaries and just have a platform within which to prosecute their ambition.
The former presidential candidate also dismissed media reports claiming he had been sacked from the ADC, insisting he remains a bona fide member and will resist any attempt by powerful individuals or groups to hijack the party.
Actually, this question should be for the media, because 2 years ago, before I ran for the elections, the same Nwonsu came and said that I was expelled for the party. I represented the party in the elections. You all saw that. The same Nwonsu who two federal high courts in Nigeria have ruled that he's not the chairman of the party, said to you that he expelled me from the party. Can you build something on nothing? INEC recognized me as the flag bearer of the party. I am still a member of the party. A man who is not chairman of the party, who has no locus, no legal basis, cannot say I've been expelled from the party. It's just like someone saying, I am no longer a Nigerian. I am a Nigerian. Today, yesterday, tomorrow. I'm a member of ADC today, yesterday, and tomorrow.